Welcome back to Save the Pumpkins podcast. Amy here.
And this is Shane. What are we talking about?
I'm going to let you lead this one there.
Because you don't remember it. Yeah. And that's why
we watched this a while ago, so.
Yeah, but I thought it'd be funny to open up and just ask you to go ahead and start it out, right? Okay. So this is 2023. Both of these movies that we're going to talk about today on our other episode that we're recording today. So I guess spoiler for behind the scenes there a little bit. Both of these episodes are from 2023. This one is part of the Curious Caterer series. It's sort of their Hallmark's newish, started in 2022. We've already done one, which was, what did we call that one? Oh, I love just testing your memory. What
Dying for Chocolate.
Good job. Good job.
And guess what? The name, the title, speaks to us once again.
Yeah, this one sounds
season.
like a tagline from a video game. It's 2020. Go ahead and tell us what the title is.
Curious Caterer's grilling season.
Grilling season. That's cold-blooded. That's like hunting season. That's how the woman dies. Like, that's not.
I know. Are they grilling somebody? Something?
Oh, you saw that word had dual meanings, huh?
Right.
Is
it like a barbecue grill? Is it like a fire pit grill? It's like it could be an exciting way of
but the way they open it up with the little, like we open up, we'll get into it in a minute, but we open up and do you remember it had it says grilling season and it's like a fire, like a fire effect, like some kid had just learned After Effects.
Yeah.
That's really maybe
it did add a little bit to the spookiness of it. Like the mystery of it.
I don't know that I think these things are particularly mysterious.
I don't know. It gives kind of like a whodunit vibe. I like it.
Yeah, see, so I guess we can talk about that eventually, but yet again, this is another one of those. Do you want to try to figure it out? Because I don't think there's anything in this one that you need to figure out. There's no figure out here. It's just a bunch of stuff's going to happen. There's going to be a story. And at the end, we're not going to spoil it again. We're going to just kind of talk about it in general terms. Did you have any idea it was who? I mean, it was a shot in the dark, right?
I felt like this one out of the series so far was a little bit more okay. That makes sense. Whereas the first one that we talked about, the one that actually did it, it just kind of came just randomly out of the blue. Well, this one was more.
So a big spoiler alert ahead of time. Since you brought it up, I like the way we can play off of each other like this. I like the fact that the bad guy in this one, if you will, the bad guy in the first one was kind of sort of pitiful. Like
He didn't have a lot of lines.
Well, not only did he not have a lot of lines. Oh man, spoiler if you haven't seen it, I guess. Not only did he have a lot of lines because it was a he.
Was it though?
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, nice. Got to throw a little bit of mystery back in there. You tried to save me, and I didn't take that one. It was pitiful. It was like he didn't want it to go down the way it did. The dude in grilling season, this one we're talking about today, was evil, like a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, dude again, so I guess I spoiled that one. But the bad guy in this one is flat evil, like just like a villain, like a proper villain. Like we got to the end, and all the things that happened at the end. I said at the end were. Oh man, they were kind of scary. That was like,
well, let's
stuff.
Challenge ourselves this time to try to just talk about like hit and misses that we thought about for this without giving it away, because this type of show.
Yeah, you're right, but there weren't any for me. The whole time I was like, oh well, okay. Every time someone was a suspect, they just killed them or whatever, and it was like, oh. Okay.
Well, okay. So what I would like to say first off is that I really like how this series opens up each of the episodes with them being at a party, because once again, you're introduced to the different characters.
Okay, so let's get started on that one. We open up at actually the very first scene we get on this one is a strangling. You open up on the killing, like the lady Susie is getting.
You're hitting on the keys. The key.
No, it's literally the first thing you see on the. I'm not spoiling anything. There's a woman that dies in this. Does that spoil something?
Well, I mean,
it's literally the first scene in the show. It says grilling season, and don't you remember she's got like a her hand on that tequila or whatever it is that Jessamine or whatever.
Okay.
No, she's coming. We're going to talk a little bit about it. We're just not going to. You'll see where I'm going with it, and you'll not be upset. It opens up. and Susie's getting killed, getting strangled, the lady, and you don't know it's Susie obviously yet, but then we open up on the party like you said, and Goldie's there again. We got to give Goldie Berry, who is the caterer in the series, the main mystery solver, if you will. We open up with her catering the party. Have to. And of course Marla's there. They love to give the female leads in this sidekicks. And Marla is totally taking the sidekick. So there's a party for Susie. It's Goldie's friend. And who is Susie dating?
That would be Goldie's ex-husband.
Richard. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to cut this off. We're going to just give a little bit, and then I'm going to stop before it gets too crazy and just hit on some high notes. I think you'll like the way I'm going to go with this one. So we meet a bunch of different characters. You actually brought this up that you liked it, so I'll let you talk about it. You said once again we get to a room. It's like Clue, a room full of what?
Yeah, just a room.
Suspects. Yeah.
Right, and you get to see the ones that they brought back from the first series, and then
each one of them has a little thing.
And you're introduced to.
Do you remember any of them? Like we saw like a little. There was a little guy that was yelling on the phone.
Right. So that's one.
His name's Kenny, I think, but he's like a fitness guy or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and what's he yelling about? You kind of remember?
Well, he's a little bit upset about some sort of contract being nullified or not honored, or.
And Goldie overhears this. That's how we know. She overhears him. Like Susie's gonna back out of this contract. So they're giving you motives for a lot of the people at the party, right?
Right. And Susie's ex-husband is there. Totally. Looks a little suspicious.
Yep. And
acting weird.
And then Goldie overhears Susie and Richard talking, and they don't sound really happy. And Richard tells her she was cheating on me, Goldie. And Richard's all stumbly out of the party, and Goldie and Tom. Tom's there, by the way. And who else is there with Tom? I mentioned her a minute ago. We get to meet Tom's
ex-wife.
His ex-wife from that we got mentioned in the first one in Dying for Chocolate. It's kind of cool to see her. Amanda Kahn, I think, plays her. She does a good job. She comes in, but she's kind of what Goldie had said she would be, sort of a lot. Right, she's sort of a lot to put up with. But Richard stumbles out of the door, and Dennis, who we met a little earlier and had issued some noise complaints on Susie because he's Susie's neighbor. Mm-hmm. Dennis comes up and grabs Richard, and Richard tells Goldie, "I was going to propose to her, Goldie." And Tom comes outside because Goldie says, "Tom, come with me. I might need you in a minute." I thought it was really cute. And they go outside, and Dennis comes over and is like, I'll take him next door to get him some coffee. Come on, Richard, don't get in the car because he's clearly messed up or whatever, right? And we go back into the party. I'm leading up to this a little bit because it was one of my favorite parts in the movie. There were a couple of favorite parts. Actually, spoiler, I like this one more than the first one. Would you say?
I do like it, but probably for different more.
Okay, we'll see if they jive. You just don't remember as much about this one, so I'm going to talk, but jump in and say, well, hold on. If I say something you want to talk about. So we go back inside, and Jessamine, isn't that her name? Jessamine. I can't remember. Right. Oh yeah, her name is Jessamine. She's played by Amanda Kahn. I mentioned that earlier. So she, Richard had left because he thinks Susie's cheating on him. So Jessamine comes up with Tom and says, "Okay, we're leaving." And Tom leaves with her, helps her put her jacket on and leaves with her. And we were like, "Oh man, that's not going to go over well," because there's a romantic tension between Detective Tom Schultz, played by Andrew Walker. We didn't say that. We didn't list the stars. We're all out of whack when you don't do it. You know what I mean? We're out of whack when you don't do it, honey. Everything's messed up. There's a way that I like
to introduce these shows.
But you know what? And you do it better. You do it better.
Well,
so Nikki Deloach
I wouldn't
plays.
say that, but thank you for saying that.
Nikki Deloach plays Goldie Berry. Again, with those two. But so Tom is leaving with his ex-wife, and we're like, oh, because there's like a little romantic tension. In fact, at the party, I think Goldie tells Tom, "Marla says that I need to have more of a social life and that you need to be more of a part of it." I'm like, oh, cute, right? So Tom's leaving with his ex, and the next scene we get, do you remember what happens? I thought this was so cute. These are the little touches I like. Goldie's at her house cooking, because she's always cooking. She's a caterer, and her daughter's there. I didn't get the actress's name, played her daughter, and I apologize ahead of time. She's very sweet. She's very cute in this. Tom rings the doorbell and shows up. It's left unsaid, but Tom believes he owes Goldie an explanation.
Right, for
why
leaving with his ex-wife.
yeah. Well, he doesn't owe her anything. There's no decided upon romance or no it's just sort of lightly implied. But he goes over and says that, I left with her, but she was telling me about a business thing or whatever. I needed to ask her why the heck she was back. Right. And she's like, oh, okay, whatever. What did she say or whatever? And I think Goldie's daughter even says, you guys should come to my baseball game or whatever it is together or whatever. They're still messing with that tension, right? The relationship tension between Goldie and Tom, Andrew Walker and Nikki Deloach. But Tom gets a call. What's happened?
Oh, there's been a murder.
Yeah. Susie, she's dead. Goldie's broken up. And
because she had just seen her,
and
not just a few hours earlier.
And they're going to do the thing that I know you like. And I like because I need it. I talked about this in the first one in Dying for Chocolate. Goldie is a civilian. If she keeps tagging along to these crime scenes, you're going to lose me. Like that, no cop would let a civilian do that, regardless of how much they knew. But what's the little detail that Goldie says, I have to come? It was an explosion with the grill that Goldie was working on.
Okay, you're starting to.
No. This isn't. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop well ahead of any of the action stuff. But we're just setting up the crime. This thing that this is about. I'm not spoiling anything. The people are gonna find out someone dies. I think it's in the trailer. Like this explosion is. I think. So there's an explosion, and Goldie was working with that grill. So that leads into the why she gets to go on this investigation. And from there, we just go and kind of putter along and eventually...
Well,
and see, I don't want to talk much more about this because we will be getting into details. So
right.
Eventually we Tom becomes a suspect. See, now I'm skipping all over the place, and I'm doing it on purpose because I don't want to. Tom becomes a suspect, and Goldie and Richard. I said that wrong. Richard, her ex, becomes because Tom Schultz is Andrew Walker. Richard, her ex, becomes a suspect, so she gets very much involved. Again, it's more of that realism. This is her daughter's. Despite the fact that I think she cares about Richard in an overall general sense, this is her daughter's father. Like she's a protective mother, right? So she's like, no, Tom, Richard didn't do this, Tom. You're wrong about that. So they go on and they figure it out. There's some cute scenes. I'll just hit on the little things I thought were cute. Marla and Goldie and are just the best. And Marla,
that they introduced the two of them being like kind of like sidekicks with each other.
She's played by JC Doughton, I believe is her name. She's wonderful. She's really good comic relief, and they use her for more than comic relief in this one. They actually let her do some eavesdropping and things. There's just some really and then my favorite scene, because I don't have to look at any notes about this. I remember it. I was cracking up. Kenny, the fitness guru, right? They suspect him at one point. They suspect kind of everybody at one point. There's a detective we meet that comes in, and we're kind of introduced to her, and Mason gets a real cute little scene. Mason's back, the detective from the first one that works with Tom. That's a young kid, and it's kind of funny. He's back, and he gets a little part where he gets to be like solo mission or like undercover, where he puts the sunglasses on and he gets to hide out in the car. It's funny, right? But at one point,
they give them a little bit more of a playful character.
Yeah, they develop them. But do you remember the scene I'm talking about? I know you liked it as well. This is Marla. Just she's the best. I think she's gorgeous too, but she's the best. She's just it. Kenny, the fitness guru, is a suspect at one point. So Goldie is like, I need you to go over there and distract him so I can get in the house and see if I can find any paperwork or whatever. I have no idea what the heck she's hoping she'll find. That Kenny was involved with something, a business deal, and was planning on screwing Susie over or whatever. But Marla has to distract him and pretend that she sort of likes him. And so she comes up with she tells him that she's got to go all of a sudden when like
she asks him to help her with her flat tire.
Yeah, and he does, and it takes forever, and he's just like kind of mansplaining how to change a tire. It wasn't really mansplaining. She acted like she didn't know how to change a tire. He was just trying to help her and show her what to do. But at one point, Goldie's in the house, and she's got to stall a little bit longer, and she's like, okay, I gotta go, go to choir practice. And he goes, you singing choir? And she goes, yep, gotta go, or whatever. And she sees Goldie, and Goldie is like, no, don't go yet, I gotta get out, or whatever. And she's trying to pause, and she starts singing Amazing Grace.
Yeah, and he gets all
but then
choked up.
She leaves. Yeah, he gets choked up a little bit, and she leaves. And Goldie's like, "How did it go?" And she goes, "Great, Goldie. I had to sing Amazing Grace." It turns out that's what they sang at his mother's funeral.
Yeah, that was really funny.
It
I was really impressed with how they matured these characters from the first one to the second one. I felt like there was more. It felt more like they were comfortable working with each other this time around.
The characters, or the actors, what do you mean?
Like the actors as their characters,
Yeah.
and that they put Goldie and Marla together more to kind of work as like a duo in helping to solve the
Totally. They're
case.
sidekicking those. That's best friend goals. They want everybody to. If they we haven't watched the third one. Spoiler: we're going to watch that one tonight and probably have a show on that one next week. I'm told it's good. The previews, it looks like Tom's a suspect and something, so it could be good. But yeah, if they don't continue to have Marla be the sidekick that is always there, the Robin to the Batman, we're
yeah. And I did like this story better. I loved what Nikki Deloach had done to her hair from the first one to the second one.
Always with
was
the
obsessed
physical
with
with
that.
you. Always with the physical features.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it like the clothes make the person. It's like, you know, and I thought that Richard's character, they got to give him a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance, because in that one scene he was supposed to pretend like he was a little intoxicated because he was like stumbling out the front door, and he just was not believable. And for someone who was tagged as a possible suspect, I really needed him to be a little bit more convincing that he was deeply distraught that he was accused, and this isn't possible, this isn't me, and I wasn't buying it. So.
Lachlan Monroe not really working too well for me in this one. He's fine because he's playing a character that honestly, if he's not on the screen, I'm kind of all right. It's sort of okay.
And I don't know if this hit you the way that it did, but I thought that it was interesting how they've made Andrew Walker's character as charming as he is in most of the scenes. Have you noticed that there are times when he's talking to Goldie that he's like very abruptly like stern, like he gets like in that police officer detective, and it's a little bit like coming out of the blue.
I think that what they're trying to do with that, I don't know, but I think what they're trying to do with that is bring back some of what I said I had a problem with, which is, come on, dude, you're a police officer, a detective, nonetheless. You're not, I know you think she's gorgeous. Everybody thinks Nikki Deloach is gorgeous, but you're not going to be bringing the caterer on all. So they have to let him, like he scolded Marla, and there's another really great scene where Nikki and Marla, I started saying Nikki and Marla, I keep getting the names with their characters, where Goldie and Marla set up a suspect board with their little yarn or whatever, and it's hilarious because he busts in on them a little bit, and they're kind of and they're like trying to hide this giant board, and he's like, what are you doing? And he's very stern with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're doing that to bring unless you remember another scene where he's just like mean to her character or something, I think they're doing that just to bring back the
I don't know. I think it makes it a little difficult for me because he's such a likable character, and I guess maybe me just bringing some of that from other shows that we've seen him in, that when he does portray himself as that authoritative figure, it comes across to me a little abusive in a way. And I don't mean that like, oh my gosh, man. Like, I don't know, like it just rubs me the wrong way, just a little bit. Like, it's not enough to make me dislike him or his character or the movie, but it's just something about it that just rubs me
I
the
didn't
wrong
get
way.
that at all, but I'd be really curious if anybody else hears this and they felt. I can't speak for every man in the world. I feel like sometimes even in this podcast, if I interrupt you or if I, and I mean, I don't have to watch myself around you because I don't act that way. it's just not in my nature. I wouldn't think, but I have to make sure that I don't want to come across as, I know you don't think I come across as being like abrupt and I mean, other than when I'm just
well, no, and
grouchy or
maybe that's
whatever.
why it like hit me a little bit because I'm not that. That's not in my everyday, but I don't know. Just for a show to impact me
That's
that
so
way.
interesting. I just didn't get it at all. Like I thought Tom and Goldie are the best, and I just was like, oh wow, you saw some.
I mean, I'd be interested to see.
So
if
now in
else.
Fatal Vows or whatever the next one is, I'm totally gonna watch and see if there's if he's like a little mean to her or whatever. Because I usually pick up on that.
Maybe
usually.
No.
You saw what you saw. I don't know. You heard the birds in the.
That's right.
Home for
I
Harvest.
can't wait to talk about the other one.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. So I didn't. I don't want to. I brought it up and then I didn't. I don't want to dog it out. The actress that plays Olive, her daughter's name is Mason Nicholson. But I'm going to give a little quick shout out here. Rob LaBelle that plays Dennis, the neighbor. He's good in this. We're not going to get into it. Don't say anything. But he's very good. He does a good job in this. He's. There are several people in this one that they mean for you to be suspects, and these are all actors that I think have their moment to shine. I know they get direction, stage direction or whatever from the director and from whoever else is on the crew there, but I think you have to kind of take these things when they're there. You have to. Nobody's going to let you outshine the stars, but I get the impression from the interviews I've seen with the Hallmark stars. This is a Hallmark production. The next one we'll talk about isn't going to be, but this is a Hallmark production. I get the impression that these actors and actresses are very happy for their co-stars when they do well, when people notice them. Like, I don't feel like there's tons of egos going on there, because if you like Autumn Reeser, you're going to pick Autumn Reeser for your next one. She's going to like the person that's helping her, the little girl in the Midnight Masquerade or whatever, because that only helps.
I always extract from these that these actors and actresses are in it because they are liking, you know what I mean? Like it's a whole, because they come together multiple times.
There's most definitely a lot of actors get their start here, or they fall back here. Like we've seen, several actors that are say Hollywood types. Like Jesse Hutch has been in some movies, and he kind of came back and does some Hallmark movies. I think these are, at the end of the day, it's a gig, right? It's a job,
right? It's a job, but I feel like in the same time, it's like not necessarily a hobby for them, but something that they must clearly enjoy because it's, it is entertainment and it's good.
Yet another thing I'd like to ask one of these stars off camera, ask a Jill Wagner or even ask a Nikki Deloach, hey, I'm not going to put this on, not going to say this or mention or anything, but tell the truth. Is it just a gig, or do you think to yourself, can't wait to get up and go to work?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
Mm-hmm. That would be an interesting question.
Yeah. I mean, my guess is she would say, can't wait to get up and go to work. But if she were honest, I imagine she would, when I was pregnant that one time, because I told you I saw the interview when she was talking to Andrew Walker when she was pregnant. That was maybe not fun or whatever. I'd like to get some interesting behind the scenes kind of stuff, but not for any reason other than I find it fascinating. But yeah, I like this one quite a bit. I thought it was a little more intense, I think, than the previous one. Mm-hmm. Would you not say?
Yeah. So they are increasing their I guess what's the word? Increasing their likability, like they're increasing their
What do you mean? The characters?
No, the plot, like the storyline.
They're advancing their characters so that they're
maturing their story.
They're not just meeting.
Right.
They're all familiar with one another, right?
Right.
Their familiarity with one another, maybe.
Yeah. So definitely, I would say on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give this one?
Ooh, it's so hard because I know these are part of a series, so they're they're based on books, right? That's not an individual standalone movie that you'll never hear from again. We're literally going to hear from another one tonight when we watch it.
I'm going to give it a 4.6.
Ooh, I don't know that I would go quite that high. 4.3, 4.2, 4.3.
Interesting.
But but I liked it. Honestly, I can't keep up with and remember what we rated. Maybe I need to go back and listen to the videos and see what we rated the rest of them, because I always do that whenever I'm rating something. I go, well, I can't give that movie higher than that movie, even if it's what I thought of it. I have to reassess everything. I get kind of a little OCD about that or whatever.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. I mean, we'll say it again just to be broken record about it. Hallmark, you're putting Nikki Deloach and Andrew Walker in movies, and that works. When you put people whose chemistry, which is kind of everything, if you don't have it, you better have something else going on. And the mystery, let's be honest, I'm doing air quotes, no one can see. The mysteries are whatever, right? They're fine, but we come for these characters. And that's where they're knocking it out of the park, at least with the two leads.
I agree.
Yep.
Well, let us know what you think, and remember to do something that makes you happy today.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.